Before there was Tyson, before Ali, before the modern era of fame and flash, there was Jack Dempsey, the Manassa Mauler, a name that terrified men long before social media, long before highlight reels, long before boxing was even a business. He didn't train to perform, he trained to survive. Every run, every punch, every bruise was carved out of necessity, not luxury. Dempsey didn't come from gyms with mirrors or coaches with microphones. He came from coal mines, lumber camps and bar fights. And from that chaos, he built something the boxing world had never seen before: controlled violence. This is how Jack Dempsey really trained, how he turned raw rage into a weapon, how he inspired generations, from Mike Tyson to Cus D'Amato's philosophy itself. You're about to see a kind of training that doesn't exist anymore, and maybe never will again. Welcome to Back to Boxing. Jack Dempsey was born William Harrison Dempsey on June 24, 1895, in Manassa, Colorado, a rugged little Mormon town with barely 600 people. His family was dirt poor. With 9 children crammed into a small cabin, hunger wasn't just a problem, it was a way of life. His mother, Celia Dempsey, a strong-willed woman of Cherokee ancestry, pushed her sons to be tough, to fight for everything. She believed that survival required strength, and for young Jack, that message stuck. In many ways, she was his first trainer. By 16, Dempsey decided he couldn't stay trapped in poverty. He left home and became a drifter, hopping freight trains across the American West. He slept in boxcars, begged for food, and worked wherever he could, in coal mines, lumber camps, and fruit fields. But no matter where he went, one thing followed him: fighting. In the rough world of mining camps and saloon towns, bare-knuckle brawls were a form of entertainment and survival. Dempsey stepped into those fights for a few dollars a night, often against men twice his size. There were no gloves, no referees, and no rules, just fists, blood, and pride. He broke his nose, lost teeth, and took beatings that would end most men. But he kept coming back. Through those brutal nights, he discovered something no gym could teach: real toughness. He learned how to fight hurt, how to hit through exhaustion, and how to turn pain into fuel. During those early years, he took the name Jack Dempsey, inspired by the great middleweight champion, nonpareil Jack Dempsey, a symbolic passing of the torch. His own legend began in smoky saloons, where word spread about the wiry kid who fought like a wild animal but thought like a tactician. His life changed in 1917 when he met Jack Doc Kearns, a sharp-talking manager who saw beyond the ragged drifter. Kearns recognized a fighter who had the raw material of a world champion: power, grit, and hunger. He polished Dempsey's rough edges, introduced structured training, and taught him how to turn brawling into controlled aggression. Just 2 years later, in 1919, the former hobo from Colorado stood on the brink of greatness. The boy who once fought for $2 in mining camps was now fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world, ready to shock boxing and become one of the most feared men ever to step into a ring. Roadwork and endurance. Jack Dempsey's approach to roadwork was ahead of its time. While modern fighters often jog long distances at steady paces, Dempsey did the opposite. His runs were short, explosive, and designed to mimic the rhythm of real combat. He believed fights were won in bursts of intensity, so his training had to mirror that truth. He'd wake before dawn and cover 3 to 5 miles, mixing furious 30-second sprints with slow jogs to recover. This built the kind of fight-specific cardio that let him unleash relentless combinations for 3 minutes straight. Often, he ran in heavy work boots, strengthening his legs and ankles. When he switched to lighter shoes on fight night, he felt like he was flying. Dempsey also tackled steep hills, sprinting up mountain slopes to build his legs, lungs, and unbreakable will. He shadowboxed while running, throwing punches as he moved, blending footwork, rhythm, and conditioning into one brutal routine. He trained through scorching heat and freezing cold, believing the body should adapt to pain, not avoid it. If you could run 5 miles in 95-degree heat, fighting under bright lights felt almost easy. And here's something essential. Dempsey chopped wood for hours every day. It wasn't for show. Each swing of the axe built his shoulders, back, and core while testing his endurance. It was his version of functional training, the raw, honest kind that forged real fighters long before modern equipment. He also made the jump rope a daily ritual. Dempsey skipped rope with blistering speed, focusing on rhythm and timing. It refined his footwork, sharpened his reflexes, and gave him the light, springy movement that made his explosive power even deadlier. Boxing training. Jack Dempsey's training went far beyond simple drills. It was a violent rehearsal for real combat. Every session was designed to replicate the chaos, intensity, and exhaustion of a real fight. When Dempsey hit the heavy bag, he didn't just practice combinations, he went to war. His rounds were short and explosive, usually 2 to 3 minutes of non-stop aggression. Each punch was thrown with fight-ending intent. The goal wasn't just to hit hard, it was to make power automatic. Every hook, cross, and uppercut delivered from instinct. He devoted particular attention to body punching, believing that breaking down an opponent's core was the surest path to victory. Dempsey trained to drive hooks deep into the ribs and liver until those punches became second nature. His heavy bags weren't the cushioned ones seen today. They were old canvas sacks packed with sand, sawdust, or even gravel, hard enough to toughen his hands and forearms. He often trained bare-knuckled or with minimal wrapping, conditioning his knuckles into hardened weapons. With the speed bag, Dempsey was equally relentless. Instead of tapping it rhythmically, he unleashed rapid-fire combinations, hooks, crosses, and uppercuts to develop hand speed, coordination, and rhythm under pressure. His shadowboxing sessions were just as intense. Dempsey treated them like real fights, head movement, feints, pivots, and explosive bursts of offense. He often used resistance bands during shadowboxing, a method decades ahead of its time. The added tension built his punching speed and shoulder endurance while forcing him to maintain perfect form through resistance. And then came sparring, where Dempsey's philosophy of train harder than you fight was taken to its extreme. He sparred brutally, multiple rounds every day, often with opponents who were bigger, stronger, or faster. There was no light work. Every session was a test of will. Dempsey wanted his sparring to mimic real combat. He told partners to hit him as hard as they could, believing it was the only way to build true composure under fire. Taking punches in training taught him how to stay calm when hurt, to keep his guard tight, and to counter even when dazed. Occasionally, he even sparred blindfolded, relying on feel and instinct to sense movement and anticipate punches. It was all part of his goal, to make every reaction automatic, every punch purposeful, and every round a fight for survival. Strength and power training. Jack Dempsey didn't have access to modern gyms filled with machines or equipment. What he had was his own body, the natural world, and an unmatched drive to push it to the limit. His strength training was simple, functional, and brutally effective. He started with core training, which he believed was the engine of every punch. Dempsey performed hundreds of sit-ups daily, often with his feet anchored under a partner or heavy object. He varied his technique: straight sit-ups, twisting sit-ups for oblique strength, and fast-paced crunches to build endurance in his midsection. He also performed a variation of leg raises where he'd lie flat and move his legs in a cycling motion, mimicking the rhythm of pedaling a bike. This constant motion built endurance in his lower abs and hip flexors, keeping his core engaged the entire time. It strengthened the crucial link between his legs and torso, the foundation of the explosive power that made his punches snap like whips. As we already talked about wood chopping, it was another major part of his regimen. Dempsey swung a heavy axe hundreds of times a day, building explosive power in his shoulders, back, and core. The rotational motion closely mirrored a hook or body shot, while the sheer effort developed his forearms and grip strength to near inhuman levels. He also worked on medicine ball training, long before it became standard in boxing gyms. Dempsey and his training partners would pass heavy medicine balls back and forth, building strength, coordination, and timing. The constant motion worked the core, shoulders, and arms while teaching him to stay balanced under load. He'd also slam the medicine ball into the ground and catch the rebound, sharpening his reflexes and developing total body explosiveness. Dempsey's upper body training was pure calisthenics. He did hundreds of push-ups every day, wide, narrow on his knuckles, and explosive push-ups that launched him off the ground. His pull-ups were done to failure, often repeated in multiple sets, developing his lats and grip, the muscles that anchored his devastating hooks and uppercuts. For his legs, Dempsey relied on deep bodyweight squats, often done in high repetitions or while holding rocks and logs. He mixed in jump squats, exploding upward to simulate the same ground-up power transfer used in punches. To take it further, he climbed steep hills and mountains, sometimes sprinting up inclines to build the kind of leg endurance that kept him driving forward late into fights. He finished his sessions with neck training, a part of his routine he never neglected. Dempsey did neck bridges, supporting his body weight on his head and feet while rocking back and forth to build thickness and stability. He'd even have training partners push against his head from various angles to strengthen resistance, building the kind of iron neck that let him absorb punches most men couldn't survive. Everything Dempsey did had a purpose: to make his body a weapon. There was no wasted motion, no fancy equipment, just raw effort, pain, and an obsession with turning every muscle into fight-ready strength. The Dempsey Roll. One of Jack Dempsey's most famous innovations was the Dempsey Roll, a movement that blended head movement, footwork, and punching into a single, seamless rhythm. It wasn't a single technique, but a continuous flow, turning defense into offense with explosive precision. The Dempsey Roll involved a weaving, figure-eight motion of the head and torso, coordinated with short, advancing steps. As Dempsey rolled to one side, he loaded power through his hips and legs. As he came up from the motion, he released it through hooks and uppercuts. Each roll generated momentum for the next punch, creating a chain of non-stop offense that was both rhythmic and violent. Dempsey developed the movement out of necessity during his early days, fighting larger men in rough mining towns and makeshift rings. Standing toe-to-toe wasn't an option. He had to move his head, slip punches, and attack from angles. The rolling motion let him evade while advancing, closing distance and countering simultaneously. Mechanically, Dempsey would crouch low in his trademark stance, roll left while stepping forward, unleash a right hook or uppercut, then roll right and fire back with the left. The rhythm was constant. Move, load, explode, repeat. It allowed him to stay dangerous even while avoiding punches. He trained the motion relentlessly, first perfecting the roll by itself, then gradually adding punches until it became second nature. Dempsey emphasized short, explosive breathing with every strike to tighten his core and maintain rhythm. His brutal conditioning, road work, wood chopping, medicine ball training, and endless calisthenics gave him the endurance to keep that motion going through entire rounds. In the ring, the roll made him look like a storm in motion. Opponents tried to time him, but his rhythm constantly changed. Just when they thought he was slipping away, he'd explode forward with a hook or body shot. The unpredictability made him almost impossible to counter cleanly. Decades later, Dempsey broke down the technique in his 1950 manual Championship Fighting, Explosive Punching and Aggressive Defense, explaining the exact mechanics of balance, leverage, and weight transfer behind the roll. Those same principles are still studied by trainers today. The Dempsey Roll wasn't just a move, it was the embodiment of Dempsey's entire fighting philosophy: constant motion, controlled aggression, and turning defense into attack. Legacy and impact. Jack Dempsey's impact on boxing and sports cannot be overstated. He wasn't just a great fighter, he was a cultural icon who transformed boxing from a marginally legal activity into mainstream entertainment. His fights drew unprecedented crowds and generated millions. The Dempsey vs. Carpentier fight in 1921 was the first sporting event to generate over $1 million. Over 90,000 people watched Dempsey defend his title. Dempsey's fighting style influenced generations. His aggressive come-forward approach, devastating body attack, and relentless pressure became a heavyweight template. Fighters like Rocky Marciano, Joe Frazier, and Mike Tyson all showed elements of Dempsey's style. That constant aggression, that refusal to back down, that's Dempsey's DNA running through boxing history. Beyond technique, Dempsey showed that personality and charisma mattered in sports. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a showman, a celebrity who appeared in movies and endorsed products. He helped create the modern sports celebrity, the athlete who transcends their sport. Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Conor McGregor, they're all walking a path Dempsey helped pave. His training methods also had lasting impact. While some techniques seem primitive, many principles are still valid. sport-specific conditioning, making training harder than competition, developing mental toughness alongside physical skills. These are concepts modern trainers embrace. Dempsey didn't have sports scientists, but he understood fundamental truths about what makes a fighter great. After boxing, Dempsey remained involved in the sport. He refereed fights, trained young fighters, and opened a famous New York restaurant that became a gathering place for sports figures. He was generous with his knowledge, always willing to share. Many fighters sought his advice, and he never turned them away. Dempsey's legacy extends beyond boxing into American culture. He represented the American dream, that someone from nothing could achieve greatness through hard work and determination. During the Roaring Twenties, Dempsey embodied the era's spirit. He was proof that in America, your background didn't determine your future. Your will did. Even his losses added to his legacy. When he lost his title to Gene Tunney in 1926 and again in their 1927 rematch, the long count fight, Dempsey showed grace in defeat. He didn't make excuses. He acknowledged Tunney was the better man those nights. That humility earned him even more respect. Jack Dempsey died in 1983 at age 87. His name still carried weight. When people talked about the greatest heavyweights, Dempsey was always in the conversation, not just because of what he accomplished, but how he did it. With ferocity, with heart, and with an unbreakable will. He showed that a savage isn't born. A savage is made through brutal training, unshakable mental toughness, and an absolute refusal to accept anything less than victory. That's the real lesson of Jack Dempsey. He decided what he wanted to become, and then he did whatever it took to get there. Thank you for watching Back to Boxing. I will see you in the next one.